Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo Story. A 24-year-old first-year law student at South Calcutta Law College was allegedly gang raped on campus. That this is echoing the trauma of last year's RG Kar Medical College rape case that had similarly shaken Bengal and the rest of the country. The student accused that three men, two current students and a former student linked to the Trinamool Congress student wing, of confining her in the college guard room, assaulting her for over 3 hours, threatening her with death, and blackmailing her with explicit videos. A fourth arrest of the security guard followed later. The survivor's harrowing account, backed by medical evidence, has triggered political outrage, with the BJP attacking the TMC over its link to the accused and the ruling party scrambling to distance itself. The case, once again, bringing spotlight on the alarming vulnerability of women in educational institutions. To discuss this, we joined today by an eminent panel from West Bengal. We joined by Dr. Shetarappa, who belongs to the BJP. We're also joined by Rimjim Sinha in the RG Kaur Medical College uh, agitation that followed after that incident. She was in the lead. We're also joined by Tausif Khan, who is a supporter of the TMC and a lawyer. Tausif, if I may start with you, this is the second high profile rape case on a campus after RG Kaur Medical College case. Is there a systematic rot that the TMC is unwilling to acknowledge? TMC being the party that is ruling West Bengal.
Zafar, there is no denial of what has happened. And uh, there's no question, and there cannot be any question of any political party acknowledging or denying the incident that has happened. The approach that we are making, as I hear from you and so many other media, that approach trivializes the kind of horrific incident that has plagued our country.
But how does
the
it trivialize?
moment the
Yeah,
moment I would say the moment we try to turn this political, that is where we are defeating the whole purpose of our fight to bring reform in our society. No political party would encourage anyone go and rape anybody and then I would give you a police protection. If we are to list the political leaders involved in a crimes against women, then there's a long list of BJP ministers, BJP leaders, MLAs, MPs. So
yeah,
this is not about politics or political affiliation. This is
yeah,
about the pervert mindset of the men in our society, which we must fight. This is
correct.
about the teachings that the teachings maybe we should give in our home to our the males, the boys and the men, and how we can empower women in our society. You see, if we talk about this particular case, a horrific incident, there cannot be, we cannot categorize any rape as high profile or low profile. Each and every rape case is a horrific and the most heinous crime that requires the collective, we all the members of society, it requires our collective effort. In this case, police took swift action within 24 hours. The arrests were made, including the main person who's involved, who's a main accused in this matter. He's also behind bars. Police is investigating the matter, building up a case, a watertight tight case, so
Yeah,
that the perpetrators of the crime receive harshest of punishment. And now, when I talk about punishment, I have a very valid point to raise. Trinamool Congress government last year proposed a law where the punishment for rape should be, in some cases, death, which was the law before. Under the IPC, there was the law. The BJP government, while introducing BNSS, rolled back this punishment. There is, in cases of rape, there is no death penalty now, only life imprisonment. So in last year, the Bengal Assembly passed a law, Aparajita Bill 2024, seeking the saying, suggesting amendment to the BNSS, that in certain cases of rape, the culprit should be put to death. A capital punishment should be awarded. Why that bill is still pending? It has not received the presidential assent. Why is BJP blocking that?
Tosi, but there is something that the state government can do on its own. They had, after RG Kaur incident, they said that they'll improve security, they'll improve systems, more things will be put in place, there will be streamlining of the whole thing that will be done so that there is a sense of security at such incidents are not repeated. Remember, this is again happened in a college. It's again happened in a college. You know, there are stark similarities between the two cases that cannot be avoided. Of course, the question that is being asked, that what has been done in this 1 year so that these people are deterred. That is the question that we are asking.
No, there are. You see, there cannot be actually any comparison of rape cases. So I will not go into that path, but I will say that here there were the college students, probably maybe the classmates, maybe different year, but same college students and one former student. So, and police cannot enter the college premises. The police cannot watch a vigil inside the college campus. Now, the police action, if police had not arrested the perpetrators, then I would have said that yes, it's a failure of the police. In this case, as soon as the complaint was lodged, police was informed of this heinous crime. Police acted swiftly. The two arrests were made within 24 hours, and the third arrest was made in another following 12 hours. Therefore,
Right.
yes, if we
Although,
if we're
although,
talking about
oh,
state's
yes,
responsibility, if we're talking about state has a responsibility to make sure that the perpetrators of this crime do not go scot free. They receive the punishment from the court. They stay behind bars. But when
right.
we look at the the amendment made by BJP, Mamata Banerjee is demanding capital punishment for rape cases. BJP says no. Why is
Correct.
this? Do
No,
we not
I
want
get
the
you.
law,
I get
state
your
law, to
point.
act as a deterrent?
I get your point that police promptly swung into action and they were arrested. But Sambit Patra, a short while ago, gave a press conference. He said that the college is not a different country. It's not a different state. That the two there can be such a big boundary between the two as is being made. Before going to Dr. Shiturappa, let us hear what Sambit Patra had to say. Then we can take it further.
जो चिट्ठी पीड़िता ने लिखा है, आप सोचिए, हॉकी स्टिक से मारा जाता है, उसको एजमेटिक अटैक आती है, वो पैर पड़ती है और कहती है मुझे इनहेलर दे दो, मुझे हॉस्पिटल ले जाओ. उन्होंने मना किया, हॉस्पिटल नहीं लेके जाएंगे. उन्होंने कहा मुझे जिंदा रहने के लिए इनहेलर की आवश्यकता है. राइट आउटसाइड ऑफ अ हॉरर हिंदी मूवी जो हम देखते हैं हॉरर स्टोरीज में कि किस प्रकार से दानव और दैत्य किसी महिला के साथ व्यवहार कर रहे होते हैं, ठीक उसी प्रकार का व्यवहार टीएमसी के इन गुंडों ने एक पीड़िता के साथ किया. हॉस्पिटल नहीं लेके गए, बाद में इनहेलर लाके से दिया गया, जान बची, मगर धमकाया गया कि अगर आपने एक शब्द भी बोला तो तुम्हें तो मारेंगे ही, बॉयफ्रेंड को मारेंगे और माता पिता को सरकार से अरेस्ट कराएंगे. ये जो सरकारी प्रोटेक्शन है, आप सोच के देखिए, टीएमसी के ही एक नेता ने यह काम किया है, मनोजीत मिश्रा. यह है मनोजीत मिश्रा. और मनोजीत मिश्रा को आप किनके साथ देख सकते हैं? यह मनोजीत मिश्रा अभिषेक बनर्जी के साथ है. यह मनोजीत मिश्रा है मिनिस्टर चंद्रिमा भट्टाचार्य के साथ, जो ममता बनर्जी की काफी नजदीकी मंत्री मानी जाती है. यह मनोजीत मिश्रा है टीएमसी की काउंसिलर और ममता बनर्जी की सिस्टर इन लॉ कजरी बनर्जी के साथ.
Dr. Shataruppa, BJP has faced similar allegations, in other states. How do you reconcile your party's outrage just in Bengal? It is not something that is confined to Bengal only. It has happened in other states also. So why are you just hitting out at TMC just because it is in ruling Bengal?
Zafar, good evening. Although I don't know whether the evening is good because we are constantly in the middle, especially the place where I am here right now. It's filled with street agitations and everybody is protesting, irrespective of political parties. But let me state a few facts. I was listening into Tausif, although there was a problem with my technical thing and I had to go out. But whatever, I heard what Tausif had to say. You see, firstly, to answer to your question, how do we reconcile? Rape or atrocities against women have been happening since time immemorial across governments, across religions, across every community, I will say. So I don't even want to specify that this community did that and that political party. I don't want to specify that. But
Right.
here in Bengal, what are we looking at? We are looking at a 15-year rule of a woman chief minister who claims that she has empowered women, and you have innumerable, possibly according to them, a huge, maybe a larger representation of women politicians here. But the comments that they keep making every time a woman is ravaged, leave alone rape, every time a woman is even molested, anytime a woman is insulted, you have comments like, oh, this must have been a misnegotiation between a customer and a client. You hear comments like, especially now Rimjim is here, she has started a fantastic, public outrage, Raat Dakhol Kor, Raat Jago, for Arjikor. In Arjikor, you remember, the person who was the main perpetrator, now of course they're blaming somebody else, he was lifted out of there and given another gift posting. So again, to cut a very long story short, these kind of insensitive comments and a complete blind eye by the government, if the perpetrators, which almost 99.9% all perpetrators in West Bengal are Trinamool councillors, Trinamool MLAs, or related, remotely related cousins somewhere, they are under the patronage of the ruling party. So that is where our contention is, that if the ruling party is not going to rule properly and they are going to constantly keep on hiding and protecting the perpetrators, this kind of thing will happen. You just heard Tausif and I were on another channel yesterday where Tausif is justifying. No, it wasn't a gang rape, it was a rape. Now you tell me, is this kind of conversation that one hears from a ruling party? Now you tell me, Zafar, that where on earth will you hear a chief minister of whichever state saying that, oh, this girl, 14-year-old girl, was raped. Find out whether she was having an affair. Find out whether she was pregnant. So therefore, the fallout of this cumulative effect of the ruling party is that the perpetrators think that they have a free hand. Now, yes, of course, I agree with Tausif. I'm saying the police have jumped to action. The police actually had no choice right now because the media had got there before the police even realized something was happening. So, to protect these 4 people who are now in judicial custody, mind you, they have been actually given a very safe custody. Now, if they are out of police and if they're not in under police supervision, they are going to be ravaged by the public right now because RG has pushed Bengal to the hilt. And now
Yeah,
again, the
police follows a procedure, of course. Before we go to Rimjim,
I just want to add one line, Zafar,
yeah,
before you go to
yes,
the
yeah,
you must have heard, probably within a couple of hours, they have discovered the video footage. You see, there were 3 boys here. One is the main perpetrator, and 2 people, according to the FIR that this girl is given, the 2 other people had taken a video footage where they were planning to blackmail her after that. Now, this video footage has come into light to the police because they were looking at the devices. Now, I'm sure, Zafar, a fortnight later or even 5 days later, call me back on your channel, they will say, oh, this is AI. Oh, this is, made up evidence. This is the kind of stance that the ruling party has shown for the last 15 years. So obviously,
will of
Bengal
course
is outraged.
will of course get a reaction from Tausi, but let's first play a soundbite of the TMC after this incident. They spoke to the media, and this is what they had to say.
There's an immediate post-mortem, a dissection, to look at the names, to look at the religion. You see, you have to condemn the incident. You cannot dissect this. And you are now trying to show photographs. We just in this press conference showed photographs of BJP leaders at the center, erstwhile ministers and former ministers, and the Prime Minister himself today. with pictures of such offenders, offenders of sexual crime. So what does BJP have to say about that? That photograph is wrong and this photograph is right. You see, Trinamool Congress Chhatra Parishad, the student wing, is not teaching the students to rape. You see, we are sitting here immediately when this incident has come. The police has taken action. 12 hours since the complaint came, 3 people caught and absolutely they are in custody. And the investigation is on. Their mobile phones have been seized. The victim's statement has been taken. She has named the accused. They have been taken into their custody. It's seriously been taken. What has BJP got to do with this? Oh, they cannot even think that this is the way Kolkata police swings into action and look at the alacrity. It is missing in BJP ruled state, so they cannot expect it. So what they have started is to malign, but empathize with what has happened. And I think as a responsible opposition, if they want to be in Bengal as a responsible opposition party, then behave responsibly.
Right. Rimjim, I want to ask you, you led the protest after the Arjikar, case. Do you see any learning or reform in the system after that case? Has anything really changed on the ground, or nothing has really changed? That time it hit the headlines, the entire case, but a year has passed. Has anything changed?
Living in Bengal, living in Kolkata itself, I would like to say, Zafar, that nothing has really changed. Because for the change to happen, steps need to be taken in. It's interesting how every time when a case comes in where the ruling party is somehow involved, we are always advised to not make it political, to not compare the facts with another rape case, or to see it just as a motive or as a incident that has happened out of the blue, as if there is no pattern, as if there is no mentality that works in these incidents which actually follow a certain patriarchal norm. I would like to repeat this once again, that during August last year, when a lot of people, almost 300 places in Bengal, saw protesters come out into the street shouting slogans of "We want justice," there were a lot of demands that came out with those slogans as well. But neither of the times have the party here in ruling or the party in the center has tried even to address them. There was a press release that came out which frantically said that women should not be allowed to have night duties. And after that, the Aparajata bill was passed. Well, if I talk about that a little bit, if the bill was the only solution, then capital punishment has always been there in the IPC. I am not going to comment on how BNSS sees it because I'm not a law student myself. I don't figure that I've studied the BNSS very nicely yet. But I would like to say that if capital punishments would have stopped rapists, then India itself would have been free of rapists till now, because capital punishment has been there in our law for a long time. Therefore, we have to acknowledge this, and every single party in power or every single college where they actually go into elections, they cite their schemes, they cite the way the police works, they cite the way certain cases are resolved as political gains. And when these cases come up, we are advised to not make it political. So is it that only during elections would anything would be used in the political sense as the parties favor it in? Or are the common people not allowed to talk about politics, not allowed to address politics in their own way? That was the question which the Raat Dakhel or the Reclaim the Night movement posed. Firstly, it has been posed multiple times by various gender movements, and comparison of rape or deeming something to be just one small incident and it does not happen and we don't really subscribe to it, all of these go blunt when news reports come out that the people who have been accused in this rape case, one of them has 20 ongoing cases registered under his name. So if there was no political backing, if there was no party backing, where this person had the adamancy, had the arrogance to make people believe that it's okay for that person to come to the college, get employed when 20 cases have been registered in the police station.
Right. Toshi, please respond. These are valid points that Rimjim has raised. A set of demands was put across. Everything was said at that time will be done, but things obviously slow down. They are done at an alarmingly slow pace, if they are done at all. Then this person, he is he gets back to the college after having so many cases slapped on him. How can he do this without the confidence that he has some sort of a backing? These are valid points that have been raised by Rimjim. What do you have to say in response to that?
You see, first of all, I am not holding brief for the accused,
Yeah,
uh, the former student, against which there are allegedly so many cases pending, as Limjim is explaining. Now, had there been any kind of backing to these accused, they would not have been in jail today.
yeah,
I, so this theory or this, you know, this allegation that
yeah,
police will not touch any criminal if they are linked to the ruling party,
mm,
is wrong. Police have arrested in cases where there are criminal, complaint lodged against anybody, irrespective of their, political affiliation. For example, I can also say the former minister under the Bengal government and a very high and mighty in the Trinamool party is also behind bars because there are cases pending against him. So please, as a member of public or as a concerned citizen, Rimjim or anybody else have all the right to do whatever protest they want to, and to say whatever they want to, and to hold the Mamata Banerjee government responsible. It is within their right to do so. But again, if allegations are raised against the Trinamool party, then obviously the Trinamool party will also respond with hard facts. Why only name, if we are to say that yes, people with political connection, there are cases pending against him. It is true in our country, roughly about 46 or 47% member of parliament in our Indian parliament, MPs and in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, about 45% or more than 45%, have criminal cases pending against them. This is the country we live in. This is the hard reality. So let us not digress from the topic. Today we are talking about the menace in the society, crimes against women, the incidents of sexual assault against women. How do we prevent this? What are the measures we can take? Yes, do we need to teach our children at home how to behave? Do we need to have some kind of counseling done at the administration level of all the the teachers who are teaching in the college, so that there can be a simultaneous counseling session be held with the students in the college? I mean, these are the proposals, these are the proposals or the ideas we can discuss and
Tausif,
implement.
these are ideas, these are proposals that we always talk about when such an incident happens. But after some time, everything is forgotten. That is the point. That is what Rimjim says, that there was a set of demands that was put across. Has that been implemented? We're talking about this case right now. Because it is a case that is very fresh, but after some time it will be forgotten. It's back to the same thing. So why isn't the same seriousness being shown always whenever, is it only when such a case hits the headlines that the focus has to be there? That is the main point, Tosi.
No, did we forget the Ajikar case? We have not. The accused, the person who was arrested, received conviction after trial by the court in Calcutta. The matter was handed over after political interference. Matter was handed over to CBI, and yet they affirmed the same FIR, the same charge sheet they have filed, which the Kolkata police had prepared.
Right.
The perpetrator of the crime is the same person, and he has been convicted. Similarly, in this case also, Law will take its own course. I mean, we can sit here in the studio and criticize the judicial system. All right, I'm not saying there are no room for improvement. There are, we can, what we can do is to ensure that a timely trial takes place like it did in Arjikar case. I mean, we have an example. So in this
Yes.
case, also government can ensure, Kolkata police can ensure, and in fact, National Commission for Women has sought a report from Kolkata Police Commissioner as well. So we can
Right.
ensure that the
And
speedy trial takes
I think
place
that is
and
that
there are conviction in
I
that
think
matter.
that is the least that can be done. But before I go to Dr. Shotorappa, there is the victim in the RG Kaur Medical College rape and murder case. Her father has again spoken, and he has what has he said? Let's play that soundbite before we go to Dr. Shotorappa.
ये घटना बहुत दुख की बात है। ये घटना बार बार घट रहा है। इतना आदमी, मेरा लड़की का जो घटना घटी थी उसके बाद इतना आदमी रास्ते में उतरा दिखा जाएगा तो ये लड़की भी उसके साथ था कि नहीं हमको मालूम नहीं। वो भी था आंदोलन में, उसका बाद ऐसे घटना घट गया। ये सब बहुत दुख का अपने आदमी ये सब घटना घटा रहा है, कॉलेज का अंदर का आदमी। इसमें सरकार का लंबा हाथ है इसके ऊपर में, इसलिए ये सब घटना घट रहा है।
ये जो 3 जन को अरेस्ट किया गया इस घटना के बाद, क्या कहेंगे? 3 जन तो अरेस्ट हुआ है।
3 आदमी को अरेस्ट हुआ है, तीनों तृणमूल का आदमी है। इसलिए तृणमूल को अपने राजनीतिक दल को अपने सम्मान को बढ़ाने के लिए ये सब घटना अगले दूसरी बार नहीं घटे, ये उसको ही देखना चाहिए। ये राजनीतिक दल को प्रोत्साहन नहीं देना चाहिए अपराधी को, और ये घटना जो ना सामने आगे ना घटे ये देखना चाहिए।
आपका क्या मांग है? मांग क्या है?
ये जो घटना जो घट रहा है उसको कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिलना चाहिए।
Dr. Shotorappa, of course, TMC is in power and they have to be held accountable. But what has the BJP-led center done to ensure women's safety in educational institutions nationally? This is not limited to Kolkata or West Bengal only. It's not isn't it a state and a national failure? We cannot just isolate the two.
Zafar, first and foremost, although it's very easy to blame why the center hasn't done anything, when more the frequency is happening more in a state like West Bengal. We have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which has come out, which is a much more non-colonial, newly framed, more pragmatic system of lawmaking, or maybe criminal, but the entire legal code has been updated. Now, let me come to Bengal again. The way poor Tausif has to always face the flack of it. But apart from the women ministers and the chief minister herself, we have very recently, I'm sure you've already got the bites, Madan Mitro, who's most of the time intoxicated, and Kollan Banerjee, who is habitually an obnoxious, illogical person. Both have been, again, got into victim shaming. Why? Because they're both saying that it is not their fault, it is not the government's fault that the friend rapes another friend. I mean, this is the kind of mentality. If the ruler keeps doing this, if the ruler keeps on justifying rape, keeps on justifying the perpetrator, no amount of law, no amount of any kind of central law, state law will be able to help matters. And it's all very well advising, counseling, and social sessions. We, at least Tausif and I, and to a certain extent Rimjim, we are politicians. I mean, Tausif is, I know, a legal practitioner also. It is not up to us. I mean, you are most welcome to do these kind of discussions with sociologists. I'm not discounting this. But as politicians, obviously we're going to point out, as the single largest party of West Bengal, we are going to point out every time that the Trinamool falters intentionally. It's all right to make mistakes. Any person, any government can make mistakes. But Trinamool government has an affinity towards perpetrators, and they keep on and on supporting, protecting, defending these perpetrators. Two people,
No,
Tausif as well
that
as
is why.
Rimjim, Zafar, one last sentence.
Yeah.
both have mentioned Aparajita bill. Let me just clarify. When the Aparajita bill was being discussed at the Vidhan Sabha, an honorable leader of opposition as well as all the BJP legislators have declared that we agree in spirit. But there were 13 points which the leader of opposition stated that we wanted to be included. For example, if the police are lax, if the police deliberately tampered with evidence, which you write it down, it is going to happen again this time. They're going to come up with some AI theory. This is the habit of people. So we had said, please include that. We will support the bill getting passed. They haven't done that. So this is my point. They want to show there's a huge hue and cry about Trinamool that we're always doing the right thing, where in reality they're not doing. They're giving
Right.
rollouts to women, but there is no
Let us,
effort to make sure that the women in Bengal are secure.
Rimjim, I want to ask you from your on ground experience, how much of this violence is enabled by the politicization of the college and university campuses, particularly in a state like West Bengal? And what are the gaps in the institutional support from police, from college and government? What, when survivors come forward, did the RG car case trigger any long term support systems?
I think the RG Core case was sort of a volcano erupting after a long period. Like we've seen and we've cited during the August 2024 in a lot of our conversations, it was me or some other activist who was involved in the RG Core protest. We have cited a number of times about the 2012 Nirbhaya case that came up. It's as if after 12 to 15 years, we're always supposed to get down on the ground to get the justice that we deserve. We do not get it right there as our fundamental right. We have to teach people, we have to come up with our demands and tell them that we should learn about gender from school, that we should have creches in workplaces that employ women. Such short things. And about the party motivated sort of use of power, I would like to also cite that there is a Bengali newspaper here that brought out facts about the accused. And we have come to know that during August 2024, when the Reclaim the Night protests were happening in Bengal, the people from this law college, South Calcutta Law College, the students who had participated there were also threatened by the same people. And these allegations aren't false because there is proof that one of them were allegedly abducted and they were found beaten quite brutally the next morning in front of a different place. So, therefore, it is very evident, and how you also played that clip where the accountability was tried to be portrayed, where it was said that the TNCP does not teach its students to rape or how to rape, right? So, if accountability comes from that side, how does TNCP allow its students to beat Reclaim the Night protesters and not really make a fuss about it? So, if this had not come out and did not make the breaking news, this recent incident that has happened, we would have never known about the law college students who had been beaten up during those protests. There have been several accounts that are coming in after this incident had come into light. Therefore, it's been going on for a long time. And I refuse to believe that when it is the student wing of the party in power, the people who are in charge of that student wing or having a conversation in communication with that student wing, they are completely unaware of what is happening. We all know our politicians are not that naive and benevolent. So it's not about only talking to sociologists. I'll beg to differ. It's about the politicians. It's about the accountability of them, because they apparently get the chance to represent us and talk about bills and give their opinions on which bills will be becoming acts and which will be not. So it decides our future. So when we sit in our homes, we sort of place a trust on the people who are representing, on the people who are acting as politicians, who are professionally being in the ground. So I would like to say that it is the matter not only with academics, but also mostly with the politicians, because they decide what happens to us.
Yeah, the two cannot be separated. It's a very important point. And such shocking incidents, whenever they come to the spotlight, we talk about that, and then, as I was telling Tausif, that then things are forgotten and people move on. But perhaps that should not be the case. There should be strong deterrence so that such incidents are not repeated. Everybody will have to take that responsibility. But this is all the time that we have on our show today. Thanks so much, Dr. Shuturopa, Rimjim, and Tausi for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts. And thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story. Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.